Hello everybody, Pokepeel here, and welcome to part 2 of the Evilcraft Mod Spotlight. And we are back in the lab, we are ready to start, so without further ado, let's get started! Okay, so, last episode, I did a item that I pretty much skimped over because it required bubbles, but, as the mod author has mentioned, the Effortless Ring can actually be used just by placing it in your inventory. It doesn't matter if you have bubbles installed or not. I do now have it, so I can put it in a slot, but basically all bubbles does is add, like, extra, I guess, area for storage, so basically you can have an extra slot in your inventory. But basically what this ring does is it allows you to jump higher, it allows you to run a little bit faster, also it's got auto step, which is cool, and also when you jump and move it feels like you're gliding downwards rather than just going, so woo, feels more like a glide than just a jump. So I think that's pretty cool. I don't know if that was actually meant to be like that, but whatever. But yeah, so you can put this in baubles, or you can just have it in your inventory, and it will do exactly the same as it would if it was in baubles. So I think that's pretty cool. Okay, so yes, we finished on the purifier last time. So now we're going to move on to our next thing, which is going to be the Spirit Reanimator. So, for the Spirit Reanimator, we are going to need a block of iron, a ingot of iron, 6 cobblestone, and 1 blood infusion core. Now, once you have this baby, you're going to want to fill it up with blood. It can hold... Can I not take these out? I'm guessing not. There we go. Oh, okay. Yes. Okay, we have 64,000 in there, even though it only takes 10,000. Okay, whatever. We got tenacity free, productivity, and velocity in here. But once we have our blood in here, you are going to be able to reanimate mobs, or get the mob egg from them, which I think is pretty cool. But unable to cook. Let's get rid of that. Empty or no box. So for this, you are going to need to get yourself a box of eternal closure. Now, as you can see, you've also got an egg. You will need eggs in here to be able to do this. So let's stick those in there, stick that back in there. And the box of eternal closure is crafted like so. You are going to need 6 crushed dark gems, 1 ender chest, and 2 potions of weakness. So this one's quite pricey, but from what you get from it, it should be. So once you've crafted this, you can also find these in dungeon chests, which we'll get to in a moment. But once you have crafted this, it is going to have a vengeance spirit already inside of it. So you can place it down, and let's just quickly get ourselves a sword. Actually, no, we're not going to be able to do anything anyway with that. So let's open it, and this is your vengeance spirit. This will attack you, and let's see, oh. So this thing will go for you. Oh god, it killed me. Oh dear. I never thought about that. Okay, so let's try that again, this time without dying. So you can place this down by right-clicking, open it by right-clicking. This thing will go for you. Can I attack it? No, I cannot attack. It will do 2 hearts of damage, and then it will disappear, which is good. But you now have a empty box of eternal closure. You cannot do anything with this now, but we will get to that in a moment. So once you have your box of eternal closure, you are going to want to get yourself a vengeance focus. So for this, you are going to need to get yourself a vengeance ring, 4 crushed dark gems, and 4 iron ingots. Now, to get a vengeance ring, you are going to need 4 crushed dark gems and 4 iron ingots. So it's basically double that, but with this in the middle. Now, what the vengeance ring will do is it might attract or summon vengeance spirits. So, yeah, that's what the ring does. This, I think, acts basically the same as the Effortless Ring, where you can put it in here or you can have it in your inventory, and it will basically give you a little boost. So if you shift right click, no, I think I actually need this in my inventory to do this one, so shift, right click, then it will give you a boost, but it has a chance of spawning vengeance spirits. As you can see there, we have 2. Oh, owie. So these keep spawning while this is active. I will disable it and they have gone away. So do be careful when using this. So what the ring does, the Vengeance Ring, it will say if it's active or not at the bottom there. It will also shine to give you details that it is. It will give you speed 2, haste 2, jump 3, and invisibility. Which, that is actually pretty good. Oh dear, I'm breaking the lab, so I don't want to be doing that. So it's pretty handy, but it also has its consequences with the form of the Vengeance Spirits. So, as I mentioned before, you are going to want your focus. Oh, this thing is cool. Right, so, right-click to enable beam. But what does the beam do? It looks freaking cool, I will tell you that. So, I have got a few Enderman Eggs. We are going to spawn a couple in, and then we are going to kill them. Now, as you already have seen, the box is empty, and now we have a Vengeance Spirit. There we go. So, thank you, Mr. Enderman, for your Ender Pearl. But, if we have our box nearby and we use our focus, we can push him towards the box. Gradually, and then he will be closed inside the box. Awesome! So, now we've got our box, you can see, contains an Enderman. Now that we have our Enderman, we are going to be able to place this in here. It will then use a load of the blood and one of the eggs to create a Enderman Egg. So let's actually take the blood out of here. We have 64,000 blood in there, so let's put that in. 6,400,000. So once that's crafted, how much has that used? That has used not that much. It's used about 900. So that's actually a pretty cheap way of getting some spawn eggs, which I think is cool. You can do this with any mob as well. I think all modded mobs also drop things, or don't drop things. They have a Vengeance Spirit that you are able to put into the box of Eternal Closure. Box of Eternal Closure, sorry. So, yeah, that is how you get eggs from Vengeance Spirit, which is pretty cool, but it will use up all of your box. So basically, I spawned one in, got it in the box, put it back, and the cycle returns, but that's only in creative mode. So the next thing that I want to show you is going to be the Vein Sword, which is a 4 attack damage, so not too much, but it has looting 2. So for the Vein Sword, you are going to want 2 spikes, a dark stick, which we'll get to in a moment, and 2 dark power gems. So for the dark stick, you are going to need 2 of those undead planks we looked at last episode, and we're going to want 1 dark gem at the top. That will give you 4 dark sticks. And so the Vein Sword will, of course, give you looting too. So let's just quickly kill this Enderman, see if we get any extra drops. Oh, we didn't get any. Okay, but there is a slight chance that it will give you more drops. So I think that sword is pretty cool. So the next thing we're going to move on to is the dungeon stuff, like I mentioned a few moments ago. So in dungeons, or in the ground, you have a chance of finding a Evilcraft dungeon area. It will have this, the bloody cobblestone, on it, and if you want to craft the bloody cobblestone, you're going to need 500 blood, 1 mossy stone, and that will give you the bloody cobblestone in the blood infuser. So you can get it that way, or you can find it in the as the Evilcraft dungeon, and then you can chop it up and take it with you. So there's a lot of this spawns, and in dungeon chests you do now have a chance, as I said before, of finding a box of Eternal Closure, and you also have a chance of finding a broom, which I can fly. So if we get this, the broom on its own doesn't do anything. We can't do anything, but wait, what the hell was that? Okay, but if we right click, we can get on top of our broom, it floats, and we can fly. It's not exactly quick, but it means that you can fly, and these things can only be found inside of dungeon chests. They cannot be crafted, but they are still pretty cool nonetheless. And if you want to get off, just press shift, and you will hop off, and it will go back into your inventory. So I think that is a very cool thing to have. So the next thing we are going to look at is going to be the new Enderman Drop. So when you kill an Enderman, you now have a very slight chance that you'll get an Ender Tear. Now once you have an Ender Tear, you can put it in to the Blood Infuser with about 3,500 blood and a promise of tenacity free, and then you will be able to get a gas tier out of it, which I think is pretty cool. It adds a new way of getting gas tiers, which I think is pretty damn handy. So the next thing we are going to move on to is going to be the really cool items. We will then look at environment stuff, and then I think we'll end with the Spirit Furnace. So we can get several different items within this mod. There is the Blood Potash. Hope I said that right, I don't know. Double your bone mealing efficiency. So basically this is super bone meal. You will need 800 blood with a promise of tenacity 1, 2 or 3, and you will also need bone meal inside your blood infuser, and that will give you the blood potash, which acts just like bone meal, only it does double the job that bone meal would. So the next thing is a corrupted tear. Now the corrupted tear is made by having a promise of tenacity 3 in your blood infuser, 10,000 blood, which is pretty pricey, and a gassed tear. The gas tier will then be made into the corrupted tier, which we will get to what that does in a few minutes. Next thing is your empty orb. This is pretty easy to make. All you need is 4 glass around a piece of iron. Now once you have your empty orb, you are going to want to place this inside your blood infuser with a promise of tenacity 1 and 3,500 blood. You will then get yourself a blood orb. This can then be made into several different things, which are here at the bottom. So there is the repelling Kinetic Aitor. This thing will need to be charged with blood, which of course you can do by putting inside of here. Yeah, so if you want to put blood in this, just put it in there and then you can get your blood. We'll charge it really quick, and once you have this, power set to 1, power set to 2, power set to 3, power set to 4, power set to 0. By right clicking you can change the power set, and by shift right clicking you can activate this. So if you look at this, it will say an area of 2 repelling enabled. So let's get ourselves some test subjects. So what this will do is it will push items away from you, as you can see there. So if you don't want any items near you while you're mining or something, then you can basically just have this on and activate it. You can then disable it, and if you want to, let's set that to 1 instead. It will push things to the side, that one will push it over there, and of course you can change the area of effect by just simply right clicking and changing the power set. So to create this bad boy, you are going to need 1 of your blood orbs, you're going to want 2 dark sticks, 2 gold ingots, 1 diamond, and a blood infusion core. Now, the opposite to this is the Kinetic Aitor. So this one is crafted nearly the same, only the diamond and the blood infusion core are in the opposite direction. So 2 sticks, 2 gold, the blood infusion core, diamond, and blood orb. You will also need to do the same with this, charge it up with blood, and once you have it, you can right click it to set the charge, shift right click, sorry, and then you can change that, and it will pull items towards you. So this is sort of a pulley instead of a pushy. So I think that's pretty cool. So let's just drop those. It will then pull them towards me gradually, and there you go. The next item we're going to move on to is going to be the Scepter of Thunder. Spawns thunder when activated. Single use. So this thing only has a single use, but it's still pretty pricey, I'd say, but it's not as pricey. So 2 blaze rods, 2 dark gems, and a blood orb will give you the Scepter of Lightning, or Scepter of Thunder, sorry. Okay, so you'll see that the Scepter of Thunder has started as a thunderstorm. Let's just turn this off real quickly. Set it to daytime. Oh, this is daytime. Okay, this is horrible. Right, disable the rain. Turned rain off. So if we right click with this, but it's a single use item that will create a thunderstorm, which I think is pretty cool. This can be handy for our next item, the Environmental Accumulator. So this thing will have a charge on it, and once it is fully charged, you can do several things with it. Okay, so as I said, you can make several things with this. You will want to get yourself a weather container, which is simply made by putting sugar, a glass bottle, and a dark gem on top of each other. So then you'll get an empty weather container. Now, depending on the weather, you will get different things. So at the moment we have thunder. I have sound turned off, thank God. You can simply right click this on here, press Q on here, you'll see the charge goes down and boop, it will give you a weather container. So you'll get your weather container known as Thunderstruck while in a thunderstorm. It will then stop the thunder and just make it rain, which I think is pretty sweet. So basically, if you want to get the rest of these containers, you basically have to do the same thing. But if we look at this, let's see this. So when it's thundering, it will create the Thunderstruck and it will change it to rain instead. If you want the weather container being my only sunshine, basically you want to put a weather container inside of this when it is sunny, and that will give you this my only sunshine version, and it will make it rain. The next one is the rain one, which is known as when the rain begins to fall. So you're going to want to put your empty weather container in here when it is raining. That will then give you the rain version of the weather container, and it will turn the day to sunshine. So this will take a little while to charge up again, so you can't spam it and use it. Found in dark temples, not craftable. So to get this, you will find several structures around the world, or different structures around the world. They will spawn these inside, and they are the only places that you can actually use this. So as it mentioned, you won't be able to craft it, you will have to use it at those locations. Of course, if you have other mods installed that can basically take this or pick this block up and move it, then do so. So once you have your weather containers, what can you do with them? Well, you can make a few different things. So the first of which we are going to show you is the Eternal Water Bucket, an infinite source of water. So to get this, you are going to want to put 3 dark gems in a crafting table with the weather container of rain in the middle of them. This will give you 4 eternal water buckets. I don't know why you'd want that many, but whatever, it's helpful. The next thing is the eternal water block. So for this, you are going to want a dark block. You are going to want a ton of the glass panes. You're going to want 7 glass panes, and then a weather container of water in the middle, or not water, rain in the middle, and that will give you 4 eternal water blocks. So with the eternal water blocks, these pretty much act like a water block. You can see it's got a cool animation on there as well. So if we are in normal game mode, we can simply right click this with a bucket and we will pick up a bucket of water. And also, if you have other mods installed such as thermodynamics or probably Buildcraft, or even other mods that will pick up water and stuff, you can hook up this with one of the pipes and filter it out, and it will just act as a infinite water source, which is pretty cool. So the next thing is your thunder one. You are going to want quite a few ender pearls for this one. You're going to want 8 ender pearls and the thunder weather container in the middle. This will give you 8 lightning grenades. Holy shit. What do these do? Well, if you lob one, it will strike thunder down. It'll act much like an ender pearl, but it will strike things with thunder, which can be pretty handy for creating super creepers and doing different things. Let's just diffuse all this. Oh no! So that is what the lightning grenade does. Now the next tier up from this is the lightning bomb. Now for this, you're going to want 1 lightning grenade and a TNT. So pretty cheap. You are then going to want to set this down somewhere. So hello, Mr. Big Slime. Oh wait, are you an ethereal one? Yeah, you're a freaking spirit. Okay, so over here we have Mr. Sheep just sitting here nicely. We're going to place one of those down. We're then going to get ourselves our lever, and then click that. It will have a short fuse like TNT would. It will then go boom. You had to move. So it will do a 9 by 9 by what looks like 1 area of damage, and it will also do thunder strikes, so that's pretty cool. Let's get rid of all this stuff. Just toss it in the pond, no one will notice. So the next thing we're going to look at is the Mace of Distortion. This is pretty cool. It has an attack damage of 7, and power at the moment is at 4. This will have to hold blood, but it only holds 4,000. So to craft this, you're going to want 2 dark sticks, 2 dark power gems, and a inverted Potentia. Now, to get your inverted Potentia, you're going to need to get yourself an inverted Potentia. So to get this, you will need to get yourself a Potentia Spear. For a Potentia Spear, you're going to want 2 lapis lazuli, you're going to want 2 redstone, 4 glowstone dust, and 1 slime ball. Once you have all that, you are going to get your Potentia Sphere. This can then be infused with blood to get ender pearls, or as we have mentioned, it can be made into the inverted Potentia. So for your inverted Potentia, you are going to want 1 Potentia Sphere with 4 dark gems around it. So that bit's pretty cheap. So to get the next version up from this, you are going to want to put it in your environmental accumulator when it is thundering. So this is pretty handy with that lightning staff that we can get. You're going to want to put this in when it is thundering, and you'll get your inverted Potentia that is then empowered. Strike with lightning to empower. So I guess the other way of doing this is drop it on the floor, throw a lightning grenade at it, and it burn in the fire. Oh, no, it didn't. It actually just empowers it that way. You can do it that way, or you can put it in your environmental accumulator to get that. So environmental accumulator I think would be slightly easier, but if you have lightning grenades and stuff, then it's just as good. So once you have your Mace of Distortion, you are going to be able to do the same again, set the power of it by shift right clicking, and then if you go near a mob or several mobs, let's see if we can find some. We have a load of sheep around here, let's just do this. So let's right click, hold it, charge it, and it didn't do anything. Okay, let's charge this up to 4 and do it again. Poof! There we go. It killed all the mobs in the area. Hello. So that's what this does. It does damage by simply smashing them because it is a mace. And also, if you hold it, then it will pachow, just kill the mob. It won't use too much blood, but once this gets down on blood, it will become unstable and it won't be very good. So the next thing we're going to look at is the Necromancers Staff. So to get this, you will need a skull of any type of mob. You will then need your inverted Potentia once again, but this one empowered. You're going to need 2 spikes, 2 dark power gems, and a dark stick. You are then going to want to fill this with blood. And once you have it, this thing looks really creepy, just saying. I mean, look at that face. Oh, creepy. And you can simply, well, I mean, this throws skulls, but it doesn't do anything. So, yeah, there you can see. I threw it at the sheep, and if you throw it at an entity, then they will, all these lovely zombies and stuff will spawn. But they will not attack the player, which is really cool. So if we throw it here, they will not attack the sheep, unfortunately, but things like hostile mobs and that, they probably will. So to stop these things from burning, then let's turn it to nighttime, and then we'll get a lovely cave spider here. Or a few cave spiders. We will then spawn in the Necromancers stuff. Oh, are you not attacking them? No? Okay, let's go into that mode. Will you attack them, please? There we go, they're attacking them. And we're out of blood. Oh shit. Okay, just in the nick of time. But yeah, if these things are attacking you, then you can get your little zombie friends to go and attack them. Which I think is pretty cool. It will spawn in a horde. Summoned horde of zombies. Lovely. But as you can see, the charge for that went down pretty freaking quick. So that is pretty much what you can do with the environmental accumulator and the items around it. So we will move on to some more items in a moment, but first I want to show you a way of getting blood. Now I probably should have shown this in the first episode to be fair, but there is another way of getting blood, and this is it. You're going to want to get yourself a Sanguinary Pedestal, or the Sanguinary Pedestal, like, extra tier. So for the Sanguinary Pedestal, you're going to want to get yourself a dark block, and then you are going to want 6 dark gems. So this is a lot of dark gems, and you will get yourself the Singularity Pedestal. Now, to upgrade this, which will give you extra efficiency, you are going to want 5 dark power gems and a dark power gem block, which is just your power gems in a 9 by whatever, 3x3 pattern, that's the one. Or you can just simply infuse the dark block to get yourself a dark power gem block. So we have the basic one here. We have a blood tank underneath it, and this thing on the top, which is the spike plate. I believe I showed this last episode, but if I didn't, here it is. You're going to want 1 iron pressure plate and 3 spikes on top of it. So pretty cheap to have. Let's drop that in there. I'm stuck. Ugh. Oh god, I broke the glass. No! So we got lots of lovely animals in here, and we also have a high top up here. What could that mean? It could mean we're gonna drop some mobs. So to get blood, there is a couple of ways. There is the sanguinary thing that I've already showed you, but we will get to that in a moment. Or there is a way of dropping mobs from height. So if we spawn one, they will drop to the ground, and there is a chance that they will drop blood on that ground. So, jerp, you drop blood. Yeah, so there's now blood on the ground. Oh, it fixed. God damn it. So there you can see there is blood on the ground. It will then be picked up by the Sanguinary Pedestal, or any blood around it will basically be picked up by the Sanguinary Pedestal. So drains blood, stained blocks in the area. That's basically what the Sanguinary Pedestal does. Now, if you have the advanced one, it will pick up more blood every time it is dropped on the floor. So that is one way of getting blood. The other way is by having one of the spike plates on top of a Sanguinary Pedestal on top of a dark tank or any other way of transporting blood across. So if we spawn a Mr. Sheep in, it will kill it. It will then drain the blood from the spike plate into the Sanguinary Pedestal and then put it into the tank below. So we can't do that. Let's just spawn a ton of sheep. Oh no, mini sheeps! No. So that is basically a good way of getting it if you can kill enough mobs. So let's say you just had a massive mob spawner, you can drop mobs onto here, it will kill them, and then it will give you their blood, which I think is a pretty good way of getting lots of blood. So moving on to the rest of the items in this mod, there is the Invigorating Pendant, which removes bad potion effects and can contain 5,000 blood. To get this, you are going to need 2 crushed dark gems, 1 blood infusion core, and 3 string. And as it says, it will get rid of bad potion effects, such as poison and otherwise. This can be put in your inventory once again, or it can be put into your baubles UI, so that's pretty cool. Next thing is the Blood Pearl of Teleportation. Now this, you are going to need 4 dark power gems, 5 ender pearls, so not too expensive. I mean, the ender pearl wise it is, but still not bad for what it is. You're going to want to get about 1,000 blood in this, and then you can right click and it will shoot an orb that basically acts like an enderman, well, an ender pearl. So we can shoot that. We will move, go down there and across there. There we go, into the... Oh Jesus. Okay, this is why we have test subjects, because we get stuck in walls and stuff. So I think this is a pretty cool thing, but every time you use it, let's try this without that. There you go, you can see that we don't take damage, but we do have a bit of blindness. Why do we have blindness? Is this because we're near the bedrock? This is probably my fault. So if we right click with this, we can teleport. We won't take damage like we would with ender pearls, which is pretty good. So let's see, we got 500 blood. This can hold 10 charges and uses 100 blood at a time. So that is a pretty cool thing to have. Now the next thing is the Vengeance Pickaxe, which has Fortune X. So Fortune 10, which is a huge amount of fortune, but it might summon Vengeance Spirits. So to get this, you are going to want 2 Dark Sticks, 3 diamonds, and 2 hardened blood shards. So it has its plus effect and it has its bad effects. So this won't summon any Vengeance Spirits while you just simply have it in your hand, but if you go to mine something... Ah, we have a snowman and he's coming for us. Oh Jesus, he actually did attack us. Okay, so it will spawn a random Vengeance Spirit, and you can see we got lots and lots of diamonds from that. We got 4 from 1 single drop. So Jesus. Okay, now we got a scary one. You will not attack me. So that will spawn different Vengeance Spirits every time. which is, I guess, the downside of this, but it is still a pretty cool thing to have if you want to get lots of diamonds and different minerals, so that's a good thing to have. So now we're getting to the end of the spotlight, thank God. The next thing we're going to move on to is the Entangled Chalice. This thing is pretty cool. So to craft this, you're going to want one of your little corrupted tears. You are going to want 2 dark gems and, of course, 6 gold ingots. So you will then get 2 entangled chalices. Now what these do, basically, these 2 are, of course, entangled. So if we, let's say, created one, then we would have 2 entangled different things. So if we simply, have we got any blood? So if we put a blood tank on top of this, it won't do anything because we haven't got this draining out yet. But we can put a blood tank on top, and it will put from all the blood into one chalice, which will then go to another one. So it pretty much acts like a ender chest, only with fluids, which is pretty cool. Now let's say that you wanted more than just simply 2 of these. So let's say you had one across one side of your base that was taking blood, and you wanted another one across the other side of the base, which was also taking blood. Now, to get one of those, you will need to grab yourself your Entangled Chalice. You'll then pretty much put the same recipe, but instead of gold in the middle, you are going to want to put your other Entangled Chalice. That will then give you 2 more, or an extra Entangled Chalice, which you can also use, and is also entangled to the ones that already exist. So you can have 3, 4, 5, 6, even 20. So that is a good way of transporting different fluids from, let's say, the nether to your home, or even a friend's home if you really wanted to. The next thing we move on to is the Gemstone Torch. This, you're going to need a burning gemstone. To get that, you are going to want to put yourself a dark block inside a furnace, and that will give you the burning gemstone. Passively converts Vengeance Spirit's damage into hunger. So instead of taking damage from Vengeance Spirits, you can instead just take it as hunger damage. You then get the Gemstone Torch. If you put one of these with your stick, you will get 4 of these. So the Gemstone Torch blocks Vengeance Spirits spawning in a radius of 15 blocks, which basically means that if you have your pickaxe, then you will be able to use it in the mining as long as you have those torches nearby, otherwise you'll get attacked by a Vengeance Spirit. So the next thing we move on to is the Exalted Crafters. So there is 2 versions of this. There is the wooden one, and there is just the Exalted Crafter. So the wooden one is crafted with 1 chest, 1 crafting table, 2 crushed dark gems, 4 gold ingots, and a iron ingot. And what this does, it basically acts like a portable crafting table. So you can store things within here as well. So let's say we wanted to store a diamond sword and our stuff there. You can then store that into here. What you can also do is set yourself a recipe. You can then press C to clear it. And the cool thing about this is it has inner and player. So basically, when you're crafting something, if you have inventory tweaks on where you just press shift to take stuff out, then you can press player and it will drag it to the player's inventory, or you can have it as inner and you can just drag it to the inner inventory within here, which I think is pretty cool. So that is the wooden one. Now we move on to the ender one, which you're going to need 1 ender chest, 2 crushed dark gems. You're going to want your crafting table, iron ingot, and 4 gold ingots once again, and that will give you the Exalted Crafter, which basically, if you are a player that has an ender chest nearby, you are going to be able to right click this, and then you will have an access to the inventory of the ender chest. So basically, you can have an ender chest at your home, you can take this crafter out with you, and then put the things inside the ender chest from going out. So basically, right click, you can take out the bones. I will put in that crafter. We'll look in our ender chest, and there we go, we have our crafter in there. So that's pretty much what that one is. Now there is 2 different versions, so there is the empowered ones. Basically, what these are, you can stick them inside your environmental accumulator, or you can just simply have these struck by lightning and that will give you the empowered versions with both of these, so like so. What these do, basically, if you drop the empowered ones on the floor, then they will not despawn, which I think is pretty sweet. And now we move on to the final part of this spotlight, which is the Spirit Furnace. So to create this bad boy, you are going to want to get yourself some Dark Blood bricks. These are crafted inside the Blood Infuser with the promise of Tenacity 2 with 1000 blood. You're going to need quite a few of these, and you're going to want to put in dark bricks to get the dark blood bricks. As you can see, we got quite a few here, but this thing can be made in several different forms depending on how big the mob is. So inside here, due to us using Enderman, we'll get to that in a moment, we have got a 1, 2 and 3 space inside of it. So because Endermen are tall, they are 3 blocks tall, so we have that. Now the next thing you are going to need is of course your Spirit Furnace. So to get this, you are going to need 4 dark blood bricks and a blood infusion core. You're going to want to put this thing anywhere on this thing, as long as it's like within the 3 blocks. You can make this a 3x3x3 crafting thing, but it'll only have 1 space in the middle that is free to spawn stuff. Because that's what this does, it spawns things. Much like the Spirit Reanimator, these things will require you to have a box of eternal closure with a mob inside of it. But for this, it will not get rid of the mob. So you're going to need a lot of blood within here to basically use this thing. You can, as I say, make it a 3x3, a 3x5, or a 5x5, I guess. I don't know if we can do that, but you'll need a lot of blood in here, and once you do have it, you can put in your box of eternal closure. It will cook up and then give you the drops of the mob that is inside the box. So there you go, you can hear the Enderman die, but it didn't use up our box, which is pretty cool, but it didn't drop anything either. So this will just continue to go until you run out of blood, and it will use quite a bit of blood as well, but it will give you different drops from the mob that is inside of here, which is cool. So it's a good way of getting ender pearls if you have a box of eternal closure with enderman in it. So that is a way of getting different mob drops. Let's just quickly get ourselves a spawn egg for a different mob. Okay, so let's instead get ourselves a little squid and kill this thing, see if this drops a vengeance spirit. There we go, it does. So let's put that inside of our box. There we go. And then we can put this inside of the Spirit Furnace. Oh, it does. Oh, did I just take that out? I took that out, okay. So squid inside of there, this will work a lot quicker. And there you go, we can see we've got some ink sacs. So endermen have a rare chance of dropping ender pearls, so that's why we don't always get them, whereas squids drop ink sacs all the time that you kill them. So you can see we're getting a random number of different drops. So that's pretty much what the Spirit Furnace does. And with that, guys, I would say that is the end of the mod spotlight. But if I did miss anything, then just let me know in... Oh dear, I broke something. Just let me know in the comments below. And remember to hit that like button if you enjoyed this video, thought it was helpful at all, and liked it. So, yeah. But, yeah, so, hope you thought this was helpful. I hope it was helpful. And, yeah, so guys, if you are using this mod for Minecraft 1.8, you will need the Cyclops core. That is on the same page as you download this mod, so I will put that in the description. But you will need Cyclops core to run this on 1.8 of Minecraft. But it's exactly the same for 1.7, you won't actually need Cyclops core though. So yeah, but I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I've gone very dark, holy crap. Late. Okay, so I hope you guys did enjoy this video, and I will see you guys next time. So until then, bye!